Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us today in webinar on exploring the eyes through SCAR. Today's session promises to be both enlightening and enriching as we hear from experts who have made significant strides in their involvement in Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research, SCAR. Our first speaker, Dr. Shiba Natukandi Chenoli, Senior Lecturer, Department of Geography, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, University Malaya. She served as the chair of the SCAR Action Group on Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection, or TATE, since 2018. Dr. Shiba will be taking us on insightful journey into Antarctic research, sharing her experiences and perspective in a session entitled Embark on Antarctic Research, Explore and Engage with the SCAR. Following Dr. Shiba, we will have Dr. Faridina American, Senior Lecturer, School of Biological Sciences, University Science Malaysia. Dr. Faridina received the prestigious SCAR Visiting Scholarship in 2021, and she is one of the 3 recipients. Her session titled Unlocking Opportunities Inside the Tips on the SCAR Visiting Scholar Applications promises invaluable insight and practical advice for aspiring researchers based on her first-hand experiences. Without further ado, I will invite Dr. Amanda, Head of Science Support and Strategic Alliance for YPSM, to give a short remarks, and then we will continue with presentation from Dr. Shiba.
Thank you very much, Intan. Assalamualaikum and very good morning, everyone. So thank you everyone for joining us today to this seminar. So today we'll be discussing on Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research, commonly known as SCAR. So at YPASM, we believe it is essential for Malaysian polar researchers to be more actively involved in SCAR. Engaging with SCAR because can open doors to cutting-edge research, provide access to scientific data, and foster international collaborations that we believe it will benefit a lot of our Malaysian polar researchers. So for your information, every year YPSM contributes a sum of money. It's around more than 70,000 ringgit to SCAR as a membership fee for Malaysia to be part of this esteemed organization. Hence, we would like all polar researchers to take this opportunity that SCAR offers, as they give you, as I mentioned just now, a lot of opportunities in polar research. So we hope today's webinar will shed light on SCAR and its significance and how Malaysian researchers can get involved. And if you would like to connect with any researchers from SCAR, please do contact me or Intan, as we will be attending the Open Science Conference and SCAR Delegates Meeting on behalf of YPSM in August. So I really hope today's sharing will benefit all of you today. Thank you very much. I will pass back to Intan.
Thank you, Dr. Amanda. Before I invite Dr. Shiba, you can start your presentation.
Y'all can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good morning to all of you. As you heard from Puan Intan, my name is Shiba Chenoli, and I'm an academic at the Department of Geography, and additionally, I serve as a researcher at the National Antarctic Research Center at the University Malaya, and also chair the SCAR Action Group. And I'm also a research associate at the National Antarctic Research Center and Institute of Earth and Ocean Sciences. Right, so I'm thankful to YPSM for inviting me to give this webinar. So this is the overview of my talk. it's structured into 4 main sections. I will be going through what is SCAR and outline of the SCAR structure, and Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection Group, and finally I will conclude and outline the future directions. Right. So I think everybody know what is SCAR, right? And because I'm tasked to explain about the opportunities with the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research, I thought of, just have a brief overview on the history of SCAR. It was in the 1957 to 58, during the International Geophysical Year. There were many Antarctic activities that is included in the geophysical year because, as you know, the Antarctic is considered to be one of the data sparse region, right? So the International Council on Scientific Union decided that there is a need for coordinating the scientific activity in Antarctic, and also that the committee should be set up for this purpose. So the Bureau of ICSU invited few nations that is involved in the Antarctic research to nominate the delegation to the Special Committee on Antarctic Research. So that is how the SCAR was born. And as an international committee initiative, SCAR develops and coordinates high quality international scientific research programs, and it also promote scientific excellence and collaboration within the SCAR countries, right? And also they are involved in the, they provide actually scientific advice to the Antarctic Treaty consultative meetings, and also the organization which are involved in the climate change activities, such as United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, and Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC. So this is an example for their involvement. The Ocean and Cryosphere, the special report from IPCC. So many SCAR researchers were involved in this report. So that is about the involvement with the other similar international organization, right? So these are the objectives of SCAR, 7 objectives of SCAR, which they will cover in 2023 until 2028. So if you are, one of those researchers planning to have a scientific research program under SCAR, it is advisable to align your objectives of the research program complement with the SCAR objective, so that they will feel that it is, important and it is necessary to have those research programs. And this table give you an outline or the structure of various groups and programs focused on Antarctic research within the SCAR, and it categorizes these groups into science groups, standing committee, scientific research programs, action and expert groups across different disciplines such as geosciences, life sciences, and physical science, right? So you can see different groups under the SCAR in different colors, and there are 3 scientific programs which we will look into details later, right? So as you all may know, that SCAR consists of delegates from SCAR member countries, and also ICSU units, and which are responsible for setting out of main direction for SCAR. And there is also a SCAR executive committee consists of president and 4 vice presidents, and also executive director. So Emeritus Professor Dato' Azizan was one of the SCAR vice president, I think in 2016 or those time, I can't remember the exact year. And also SCAR secretariat, they are responsible for everyday action, day-to-day planning, etc. And there are SCAR group leaders for this scientific groups. So they will be carrying out the help the SCAR to have the activities. Right. So this is the present executive committee. Our current president is Dr. Yudong Kim from the Korean National Committee on Polar Research, and there are also 4 vice presidents, each for the finance, for science, administration, and also for capacity building. And the executive director is Dr. Chandrika Nath. You might have contacted her if you have any activities that is related to SCAR, right? So as we know that every SCAR country will have SCAR delegates, and this is the list of delegates, but I'm not sure if it is an updated list. I got it from the SCAR website. So Professor Zizan and also CEO of YPSM, they are all the delegates from Malaysia. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 major science groups. They are permanent science group under SCAR. So their aim is to, share information on disciplinary scientific research, and also to identify the gap in the knowledge so that they can coordinate proposal for future research. And also there are the established group to address specific research topic within the discipline, right? So this is an example how it is structured under the science group, right? I'm just using the physical science group because I'm more familiar with that, right? So there will be a chief officer. So a chief officer for the physical science group is Professor Takuji from NIPR Japan. And there is a deputy chief officer, and also there will be a secretary. And there are from different countries, there are national representatives. From the physical group for Malaysia, Prof. Justin and myself are representing the physical science group from Malaysia, right? So this is a standard structure for all the other groups like biological group and geoscience and other life science group, right? So there are 3 scientific research program under SCAR, and they addresses the major priority and scientific issue of global and fundamental importance, and also they carried out substantial field work or any observational work in Antarctic. So these are the approved group in 2020, and they will last until 2028. So again, I'm using a group as an example because I'm more familiar with this, right? So this group is on the near-term variability and prediction of the Antarctic climate system, or ANCLIME now. So this is just an example to illustrate how the scientific research programs are structured under SCAR. So there will be many themes under this group. For ANCLIME now, there are 5 themes, and this structure showcases the comprehensive and also collaborative nature of SCAR's approach to Antarctic research, and it will integrate diverse specific discipline, fostering international collaboration to address some complex scientific questions, right? So here the chair of this group or they call it as the chief officers are Tom Bracegirdle from British Antarctic Survey and Lana Weiner from Brazil, right? And under this group, as I mentioned, there are 5 program themes, and all these program themes will contribute to the overarching goal to improve the near-term prediction of Antarctic climate system, right? So one of the, I think this first objective that is related to, tropical Antarctic teleconnection, and there is a steering committee under this group, and each steering committee members will be assigned to one of these themes, right? So Dr. Singjung Kim from Korean Polar Research Institute and myself are related to the first theme. We are looking after this first theme, and there are others who are responsible for the second and third, so on, right? And we also, this group also interact with the other SCAR research program, such as INSTEN, Anti-Econ, and also the action groups or expert groups like IPEX and all those other groups. So we will need to, give our results or feedbacks to the other groups so that they can achieve their objectives, right? So for example, this group was, when it was started, there was around only 30 people. Now we have more than 100 members all over the world, right? As you know, the SCAR won't sponsor any research, but there will be substantial amount of funding to conduct workshops and also data compilation, etc. And it is more beneficial for the early career scientist, because in each research group or action group, or even the expert group, we have to show how much funding is given to the early career scientists, how they are supporting the early career scientists, right? So usually early career scientists will be sponsored under this to attend some workshops, or partially cover their research fee, what do you call, the abstract registration fees, etc. So this would be a good opportunity for the postdoc or PhD students, and also to enhance your network, right? So you can easily relate it to one of this theme, and if you think that you can contribute, so you can contact them, and then they will add you in this group, right? So these are some of the highlights that the ANCLIMB now carried out in 2022 and 2023. They given us data stewardship to kind of giving a seed money for the, or seed funding for developing a grant, etc. Right. So there is a form actually in the ANCLIMB Now website. You can go and fill in the form, or you can also contact Tom or Ilana to, put you in this group. And we also, this ANCLIMB Now also have monthly talk series. It is going on, it is online, so you can also join it. So there will be like many interesting research talks during this talk series, right? So that is about the ANCLIMB Now, and there are other groups like INSTENT. They look at they aim to quantify the Antarctic ice sheet's contribution to the past and future global sea level change, right? So from that, they can get an improved understanding of climate, ocean, and Earth's interactions. So this group consists of experts on the climate, ice sheet processes, and also oceanographers, atmospheric scientists, atmospheric researchers, all those researchers, right? So there you can see there are 3 themes, and if you think that you can contribute or connect to this group, you can just contact them. So they will be happy to add you in. Compared to the ANCLIMB Now, I think INSTENT has a little bit more funding and a little bit bigger group. So these are the person in charge, or the chief officers. Dr. Florence Coglioni from Italy, and also Tim Nash from New Zealand. So these are the highlights of the group. They had some side event during COP27 as well as COP28. They also awarded the INSTENT Fellowship Award in 2022 for the early career researchers, right? And this is another research program, and they focus on to answer the fundamental science question relating to the conservation and management of Antarctic. I think some of our researchers from the life science, Malaysian researchers from the life sciences involved in the Icon. So here is the contact detail. You can again contact them if you think you can contribute, or you're interested in this program, right? So other than the research programs are bigger. There might be, few tens or hundreds of people inside the research groups, and also it should be covered with different SCAR countries. It is a little bit bigger, right? And also the funding also will be more, and they have more lifetime also, right? And then you have the experts groups and action groups. They are established by the permanent science group, so they will be under one of the science group. So this is one of the, I think, is the recent one under geosciences, the International Bathymetric Chart of the Southern Ocean, right? So researchers can also propose new groups. Usually it will happen during the SCAR meeting, right? Then can identify, if you identify some current research research that you think it's lacking, and also you need more coordination, you need to involve different people from different country, then you can also propose the expert group of or action group. So it is always advisable to start with the action group, then you can expand and it can become an expert group, and finally you can propose to the propose for the research group. The ANCLIME also, I think it was started as the action group, Antarctic climate change and environmental impacts or something similar to that, and then they become the experts group, and now they are the research group, right? So action group is the smallest one. They address only specific issue and are short term, and usually with the lifetime between 2 to 4 years. Experts group will have broader focus, and also they will have longer lifetimes between 2 to 4 years. I mean, expert group will have 6 to 8 years, and also they can renew. So depending on your research problems, you can propose either these groups under SCAR, and these are the list of action group under geosciences. Then you have the life sciences, right? And you might have heard one of this expert group, ANTOS and all those. Right, and then we have the physical science group. There are many research, the expert groups and action groups and the physical science group, and the groups like, this Angwin, they are there like many years. And I think it is the leader of this group is from British Antarctic Survey, and also the Antarctic Clouds and Aerosol. They all have field experiments, and because of that, they are like 8 years or something similar to that. Comparatively, Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection Group, which is our group, right? So that is comparatively a new action group compared to all the others. Right. So TATE, as I mentioned, is an action group under SCAR, and it was formed realizing that there is a knowledge gap on teleconnection, which is coming from Antarctic and influencing the tropical or the lower latitude weather. Reason for this is the teleconnection signals that is originating from Antarctic are very weak signals. So if you consider the signals that is originating from tropics, right, such as the El Nino signals, these signals are significantly stronger than those from Antarctic to the tropics, and also because of that, it is easier to explore the connection when the signal is coming from a tropical region reaching over Antarctic. So most of the earlier the research was focused on the connections from a tropical region influencing Antarctic, such as the influence of El Nino in Antarctic extreme events and things like that, right? So TATE was established recognizing that there is a knowledge gap regarding how teleconnection from Antarctic is influencing the weather and climate over lower latitude or tropics, because the signals that is coming from Antarctic is very weak, and because of that, it is difficult to explore, and it will be very intricate, and because of that, there is is a reason for us to have a collaboration and also bigger group so that we can explore these connections, right? So the main objective of TATE is to foster discussion and international collaboration to investigate tropical polar weather and climate interaction, especially the linkages from Antarctic influencing the lower latitudes, right? So as I mentioned, it was approved during the 2016 SCAR in Kuala Lumpur. And then in 2018, there was a relaunch of the action group at Davos. And then during the COVID time, right, we were given extension of the tenure until 2024. So now we are planning to either propose to become an expert group or, relook into the objective and continue as an action group, maybe for 2 more years, because expert group need support from outside. They will definitely ask, do we have any, grants that is supporting this TATE, expert group. So we are planning to have to promote that into expert group maybe next year. We are still in the discussion, right? So you can look at our website if you want to know more details on the scientific details of the teleconnection group, right? So it is one of the newest group under the SCAR action group. And our focus is to address emerging challenges and gap in the Antarctic research, particularly the area have not been extensively explored before, right? So under this action group, there will be a steering committee. So these are the steering committee member. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm chairing this group, and we have the secretary from Professor Francisco Aquino from Brazil. And we have a few more, new members, and there has been a few inquiries to add a few more people from different countries. So if you are planning to have an action group, please keep in mind that you need to have people from, a lot of different SCAR countries. And also you need to cover the early career, because SCAR is always for inclusivity, gender, gender balance and things like that. So you have to take care of that. And also you can, if it is possible, you can relate to one of the research programs, the bigger research programs or experts group. So that will be easier for you to get into this, to form an action group, right? So these are the objectives. I'm not going into the details of the objectives. You can have it, from the website. So one of the things that we have to do is, explore and also organize a number of research, what they call the workshop, and also sessions in the international conferences to increase the visibility of action groups and things like that. And another one is at least we need to produce one special volume of articles on tropical Antarctic teleconnections. Right. So these are some of the recent activities that we carried out. We were organizing the workshops, from 2019. Usually it will be with the Malaysian International Seminar on Antarctic, or MISA, right? And last year, no, the year before, 2022, we had a public talk and outreach activity. One of the steering committee member, Kyle Clem, was here in University Malaya to give the talk to, enhance the outreach activity. And then we also had a one-day workshop, hybrid workshop, in which another member from India also joined us. It was a hybrid workshop, and there were like 13 presenters from 7 countries and 40 participants, right? And we also organized several sessions under different international meetings, big international meetings, such as the IMAS, International Atmosphere and Meteorology Association. I think that's the full form, or IMAS, I can't remember. So that is one of the biggest conference for meteorology. So that was in Germany last year. So we had a session during that, and also international symposium during the International Symposium on Antarctic and Earth Sciences. So we organized another session there. Then there was 17 participants. This time during the SCAR, we are organizing 2 sessions. One is with the ANCLIME Now, that is session number 3 on polar climate variability and teleconnection in the past, present, and future. And also another session on Antarctica and South American climate connection that is led by Professor Francisco, who's a secretary, right? And
MashaAllah.
And I'm also invited this ATCM meeting, that is Antarctic Treaty Committee meeting, to give a SCAR science lecture at the plenary. So these sessions were very successful, and we have increased our international cooperation as well as the visibility. Right, so this was the recent one. We had it with the 10th MISA, right? So there was also an half-day hybrid workshop. So there were 6 papers from 4 countries or something similar to that. So these are our future goals, right? TATE is planning to collaborate with other action groups such as IPICS, so that we can increase our research impact, and also we increase our core members to a broader range of researchers, so that we will have educate representation from SCAR member countries and can address gender balance and include wide variety of expertise, etc. So in future, we will be also collaborating with Arctic researchers who are interested in the teleconnection and more involvement for early career researchers, right? So these are our future goals. And also going to have either a joint scientific publication or a monograph or something similar to that, to highlight the TATE contribution and TATE research. So that is one of the other future goals, right? So apart from this action groups and expert committees, there are also standing committees, and standing committees are permanent in nature, and they help SCAR to fulfill its mission. So if you are interested in the data management, etc., you should contact the SCARDEM and Antarctic Data Management under the SCAR. And there is also Antarctic Geographic Information, Antarctic Treaty, if you are involved in the policy research, that is the SCATS, right? And there are committees that is related to the finance delegate meeting. They decide the delegate meeting on financial matters, etc. And there is also social sciences and humanity initiatives that develops and coordinates the research on Antarctic region. It is related to humanities and social sciences, right? So there is capacity building under SCAR. They have early career fellowship, visiting scholarship. I think Dr. Faradina will be explaining more about the visiting scholarship, and also SCAR medal. If you are, somebody who did a lot of research on SCAR, Antarctic research, and also you are involved in scientific coordination, education, communication, you can nominate yourself, or someone can nominate you for the SCAR medals. Right, and there is another activity that is coming in. It's called the International Polar Year. So if you are interested in observational program, and if you wanted to collect some data, so there might be several groups that is involved in the International Polar Year. You should look for that. I think this year they have already started to look into that. You can contact SCAR if you are interested in that too, right? So before I end, I would also like to highlight the Antarctic Environmental Portal. So Antarctic Environmental Portal links Antarctic science and Antarctic policy by providing easy access to the information on the range of scientific issue which is related to the governance, right? Antarctic environmental governance and management. So this portal supports SCAR in its role of providing independent objectives or scientific advice to the policymakers and also the Antarctic Treaty System. So all scientific information available through the portal is prepared by the Antarctic expert, and there will be an editorial process before the publication. So I was invited to share about teleconnection research. So one of our colleagues, Kyle Clem, and I will be, submitting an article for this portal. So they will do the editorial, what you call the review through the SCAR experts, and then we can share that in the Antarctic portal, right? So that is another opportunity if you think your research can be translated into policy and contributing to the Antarctic research, right? So I think that's all from me. Thank you for inviting me to give this webinar. Yeah. Thank you for listening also.
Thank you, Dr. Shiba, for the valuable information. Before we proceed with Dr. Fardina, okay. This is the SCAR website. So you can see the fellowships and award offered by SCAR. Okay. Can you see my screen now? So you can see the list of fellowships and awards offered by SCAR, all the requirements, guidelines, and the current and past fellows. Same thing with visiting scholarship. And then there are a few more additional fellowships and award schemes offered by the science group under SCAR. And then Dr. Fardina received visiting scholarships in 2021. Yeah. So there are only 3 recipients of that year, and Dr. Fardina is one of them. I think I invite Dr. Fardina to share her experience and tips on the application. Dr. Fardina, you can share your screen. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all. Thank you, Intan, for the introduction. Hang on, let me just share my slide. I'm very sorry for the background noise. I am at the most interesting location for the talk this morning. I'm actually at the hospital. So I hope you can hear me and not too much of background noise. Is it okay, Intan?
Yeah, okay. Very clear.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay, this is a very interesting presentation because it is something I've never done before. Usually it's a scientific presentation. So today I'm just going to be sharing with you some tips on how to apply for the visiting scholar, what do you call it? Visiting scholar award, yeah? Okay, so we're back to the image that Intan has just showed. So where do you go for this kind of information? I've inserted the website address at the top. So when you go in there, you will be brought into this page where you will see all the available awards or grants that you can actually apply for to do your Antarctic research. So today I'm going to be concentrating on the visiting scholarship. because that's the only one I've applied and that's the only one I have experienced. The other one that could be potentially interesting for the younger researcher is the fellowship. I will say a little bit about that towards the end, yeah. Okay. So again, this is the image that Intan has just shown you earlier. So if you go to the page and you scroll down, you will see the visiting scholarship tab there where they actually give you all the information about the scholarship. And then you just go to click on to how to apply, and then all the things that I'm going to be discussing here is listed down under how to apply. So when you click that, you will be taken to a link on an online application where you have to include all your details. But that is what you do at the very end, because before doing that, you need to have your CV ready and your proposal ready. Okay? So there are also information about the grant, how much you'll be getting, and how they are going to be evaluating it. What are they looking for? So they highlighted quality and the budget. That means how many people get within that year would be very much dependent on the quality of the proposal put forward and the budget that they have, which is a bit different from the fellowship where they specify the number of recipients within a year. But for the visiting scholar, it's kind of open-ended depending on these two criteria. So eligibility, the reason I apply for this is because I'm no longer young. So I've exceeded 5 years for my PhD. And this is the only thing I can apply on the SCA website. So anyone of you who are younger, maybe you have two options. You can apply for this and also the fellowship. If you're just graduating between 5 years, fellowship is the way to go. And you can also try this because this also allows for younger researcher to participate in. So the most important thing that you have to know before doing this is the research that you are going to be doing has to contribute to SCA's objective. This is something that maybe sometimes people overlook, but this is very, very important. You need to be contributing to the objective that has been outlined in SCA, which I will explain a little bit more later. Next, you need to look for a host institute. So this is similar like if you are applying for the YPASM grant, you need to liaise with an international host that will facilitate, if you're going for the birth especially, right? You need to liaise with international entity groups that has birth, and then you put in your application with their consent. So similar to this, you need to liaise with the choice of host, your own choice of host, based on, maybe existing collaborators that you're working with. Like for me, I choose British Antarctic Survey because I've been doing a lot of my research with BAS. Hence, I think that's the best host for me because we have quite a long-term relationship in doing research. So I approach them. So they just need to give a green light and say that, yes, we are happy to host you, and that's it. No letters required or whatsoever for this application. The other thing, you also need to make sure that both your home and the host institute, they are willing to participate in the scheme. So majority of us are lecturers. Sometimes it's quite difficult for us to get away for a bit, and you have teaching responsibility. So it's best to inform your department of your application. So if and when you get it, you will be able to go and not delay the trip. Yeah. Okay, this is the tricky part, the element of the application. The CV is straightforward, the online application is straightforward because you just put in all your personal details. The one-page proposal is the one that drives everybody bonkers because you have to write everything that you want to do and convince the funder they should pick you within one page. Knowing all of us, the researchers, like when we write grants, like we write pages, never in one page. But for this one, I think this is a challenge to write the proposal in one page, which I will help outline later for you, and we will go through my proposal and I will give you some tips on how to do that. Okay, then the fifth item is the purpose of the visiting. So this entire sentence is in bold. I think when I first applied, what I was looking for in the website was hint. So when this whole sentence was written in bold, I know this should be the focus and this is what I should be highlighting in my proposal. As a researcher, we always highlight the importance of our research, the scientific outcome of our research. But for this one, we need to have both. And the weightage have to be more on capacity building rather than the scientific knowledge. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have any scientific merit to it. It has to have a scientific merit, but the weight has to be more on capacity building, because we fit the last sentence, right? We are a small, less developed empathic research program. So we are going to a more developed and bigger program, older program, and to bring this knowledge back to our program. So this is something we need to pay attention to. Okay, and number 6, this is another important point. So they will evaluate the proposal based on research excellence the visit will provide. So we have to highlight that in the proposal. Once we come back, what will happen? What is the output? And that has to be in the form of research. So it could be subsequent runs with a new research that is linked to this original research. That could be a good publication in good journal and things like that. So that needs to be highlighted. Next is how your visit actually fits with the SCA's place in science and research. So this is also another important point that we need to pay attention to, because they specifically mention that we have to do a research that fits the SCA science and research direction that they are looking for. So we cannot do something that we think is important, but it doesn't fit into this criteria. And the last item that was mentioned is how far links have already been established with the proposed host institute. So my suggestion for this is best to approach the institute or your international collaborator that you have been working for quite some time, that you have a good link and you have shown the ability to work together effectively. This would be a plus point rather than contacting a new host. It can be done, but it's going to be difficult to show the link. Okay. So how to write the proposal? So I think this is the question that everybody wants to answer, right? Because writing this proposal is quite tricky. It's 1 page, remember? So we have to make sure that we have to put in all the most important information in this 1 page proposal. So as usual, you always start off with a project title, make it clear. You can tweak it a little bit, make it catchy. This will attract the attention of the person evaluating, because that's the first thing they read, right? So the title has to be catchy, has to be interesting. And then the second line, you write down your name and organization. There's no slide. I just wrote in the Word according to this how would I say, according to what I'm showing you at the moment. So this is just what I did when I applied. So there was no standard format for this. So after writing your name, it's important to give a brief introduction to the topic. And I did it in 5 lines. I talk about the background of my study and why, this particular thing interests me. Brief, but it has to be interesting and also captivating. So it's quite difficult to do this in 5 lines. It took me a while. This is the important another point of having your host institute, your collaborator. They can help out with this writing as well. So you can discuss and see, okay, what should be added, what should be removed, and what can be, how can you tweak the sentence to enhance the information that you're trying to share. So this is very important. Brief intro, but concise and capture the reader's attention. Then, as usual, in all the proposal, you need to highlight the gaps. So you can say like, okay, this is what is known so far, but this particular section hasn't been addressed. So now you're kind of building the story, right? Okay, background, and then these are all what we know so far, and boom, something that we don't know and something that needs to be addressed. So the next paragraph, so I had like first paragraph, second paragraph, the third paragraph. This is important because it's going to be addressing item 6. How far links have already been established with the proposed host institute. So what I did during my application, so I wrote down my collaboration with British Antarctic Survey, who are the people I'm collaborating with. and what has been achieved. So has demonstrated, what did we find? We found this very interesting species that is capable of resisting antibiotic, species never reported before to resist antibiotic and actually to be, what was the word? To be resistant, resist to antibiotic. So I listed all these things. And then this is the key. Highlight existing collaboration by showing your output. So add in papers that you have published together on this particular topic. So this is a topic that we have already covered. This is the research that we already covered. But during this research, we found subsequent opportunity that we can expand this research. This is what they want. You have existing research done, publish, put in your reference. If you have 1 or 2 papers, even 1 paper is enough. I have only 1 paper and I listed that. And then from there on, then you show that you already have this good linkage with your host. And then the paper justify that you have a good established research already. And it also justify the need for you to extend it, because in the paper you would mention, right? Okay, this is what you find, but then, there are other areas that you need to be looking at. So the paper is very helpful. So only add reference in this section when you're talking about yourself, only about your paper regarding to the work that you want to expand, not other general references. Yeah. Okay. The last paragraph. So I had 4 paragraphs for 1 page. So maybe 4 lines in the beginning and then 4 to 5 lines in the middle. So the 3rd and the 4th paragraph is where you really need to highlight and show and sell your idea. So this is the last one is the most important one. So because you remember, you have to say explicitly how this visit will help you. Remember item 6. So you write something like this: visiting scholar application is set to achieve the following. What do you want to achieve? So you list them down clearly first. Of course, it's going to help me develop my expertise, right? Because I'm stuck here. I don't know where to go from this research. I found something interesting. Look, I need help to then answer the next question. So this is something interesting that you should highlight. Then second, other than, expanding this research and try to answer more scientific questions, it will also help me personally as a researcher in a smaller, Antarctic program to actually expand my collaboration. So originally I was collaborating with 3 people from British Antarctic Survey, but with this trip, I might be able to collaborate with maybe another 6 or 7 people. So my pool of collaborators is going to extend. So you have to explain that in detail. You have to say like how it will expand, in what form. Sorry, there's some sound. Sorry. Some people just walking by, okay. Okay, so now we have to say explicitly how the collaboration is going to expand. Who are the people? So it's very important for you to discuss with your host. Who are the people that might be able to help you out with the work that you are proposing? You have your current team. Maybe in the team, they don't have the expertise that you want to do. If they have the expertise, you would have solved this issue, right? You would have published the whole thing as it is, but you can't. When you're publishing, you miss some points that you can't do because your existing team is not able to help you out with, because they don't have the expertise. So this is why you need to expand the collaboration so that you can finish off this work. So this is very important. And then highlight your limit. What is limited? Do you have the facilities required to run your project? Do you have the equipment? Do you have the expertise? You need to highlight that. After that, you need to tell the funder what can the host provide. So can they provide you with the expertise required? Can they help you with the analysis? Can they help you with, the data that you're going to gather? Or they have some ways of, facilitating you going to other places. So this is what you need to highlight. Okay. And in the end, the last sentence is, I think, the most prime sentence that you need to be really putting your effort in, because this is what item 6 is asking. It has to fit with the SCAR place in science and research and with its research direction. So how do you know that? You have to go to the SCAR Horizon Scan. So in my research, it was answering SCAR Horizon Scan question 15. So for those of you who may not be aware of SCA Horizon Scan, I've put in the link to this that you can copy and search. So SCA Horizon Scan, the most important scientific question as identified by this steering committee on the scientific work with regards to Antarctica. So when you go to the website, you go down to the main scan results and click the 80 most important scientific question, and that will take you to 7 main themes. So you look at the themes and select the themes that coincide with your research. So for me, it was, what was it? Antarctic life on the precipitate, because I'm looking at algae growing on the continent. So I picked that theme. You can pick any theme that is relevant to your study, and when you click it open, there are a list of questions for each theme that you can read through carefully and find which one that aligns the best to the research you are proposing. So when you say that this current research will help address this question, that means you are telling them that, okay, this is a contribution towards answering the SCA Horizon Scan question, which is in line with what SCA is aiming to achieve with Antarctic research. So this is, I think, a very important point to be included to ensure that we show the alignment that they want. So in a way, like we're giving them all the points that are required for the proposal, by using all the available information that's within the SCA website itself. Okay. So I also looked through the SCA fellowship, but like I said, this is not applicable to me. So I was just looking through, doing some comparison for this talk. I think the fellowship application pack is really helpful. So you can look at that if you are the younger researcher and want to apply this. Read through the fellowship application pack carefully and identify keywords that you need to address in the proposal. So when you look at the eligibility, so I'm not eligible because I'm more than 5 years, but those who are should try for this, because for the younger ones, I think it would be great if you can, break this barrier and have and get something international at a young age, yeah, because why limit your challenge, right? Challenge your limit. But this is, I think it's going to be a little bit challenging because they specify only 4 to 5 awards per year. So as compared to the visiting scholar that I applied that has no specification, only based on the quality and the funding available during that time of application. But for this one, it specifies that only 4 to 5 awards per year. So I think the person applying for this needs to really be careful and read through everything carefully and ensure that all the keywords are identified and the proposal addresses all this to give you a better chance of actually getting this. So I think I would like to hear questions from everyone. I'm just sharing this. So these are some of the activities apart from the discussion, lab visits and lab discussions about methods that could be employed for the research. I think if you ever get the chance, I think many of you will get this chance to actually go for this visiting scholar. My advice, if it's possible for you to discuss with your host and time it with some of the other events that are being carried out at the moment. So when I was going, I had a discussion with Professor Peter Conway, who was hosting me in British Antarctic Survey, and then I asked him when would be the best time to go. Could I go when there's something going on so I can participate? So it's not just going there to discuss about your work, but also exposing yourself to the Antarctic community and gathering other collaborations outside the ones that you have already listed. So what I did was I got involved in the Icon workshop on Antarctic conservation, where I meet a whole lot of researchers outside of biology, a lot of people from tourism, a lot of people from also physical sciences, which is really interesting to hear and discuss with them regarding their opinion. And also it gives you an opportunity to get ideas for the next research when you talk to this group of people. So it's good that your time of leaving and when you are there and you can actually participate in other things as well. So I also got involved in the UK Antarctic Conference because it's the UK Antarctic Conference, so I'm Malaysian. It's quite weird that I'm there, but it's great that they give me a slot and they allow me to do a poster presentation of the work that I'm trying to expand. So this is great because during this session, I actually met a lot of people, including this very renowned algae researcher, Matt Davey. He was very excited and was happy to collaborate and was giving a lot of insights about ways on how to go forward. So I think this kind of event, apart from visiting the host and the people that we already said we are going to be visiting and discussing, this kind of events actually opens up the opportunity to get to know more people and also to get more input in various angles on how to move forward in your research. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much, and I would look forward to your question from the attendees. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fardina. Any question? Actually, we have one question from Zoom chat from Sulaiman. Salam, thank you for the presentation. I would like to ask if the researcher finished PhD and been categorized as young researchers, should they be attached first to any university before applying to any SCA program? If yes, in what position? Thank you. For Dr. Fardina.
Okay, this is quite a tricky question. They would want an organization that you are attached to, so somehow you have to be attached. Whether you have to be attached to the university only, maybe Dr. Shiba can help out. Whether they can also be attached to a research center, that one I'm not sure. I'm sorry, my ignorance. But yeah, you need to be attached to an institute or something. You need to be attached to something. You cannot be an independent researcher to apply for this. Whether you need to be solely attached to university, I am not entirely sure because I'm attached to the university, but I don't know whether they also give, to researchers from research institute. Dr. Shiba, can maybe you can help out with this?
Yeah, I'm actually unsure about that too. I know that you should be attached to somewhere. You cannot be like independent researcher, but whether it should be a university or I think even the institute can because there are people coming from the corporate going to another institute. So maybe the institute also can, but definitely you should be attached to, some university or yeah, somewhere, I think.
Sulaiman, if you go to SCA website and then fellowship FAQs, there are a few questions that related to your to your question. I think your home institute will be where you're working, living at the time. And then
Yeah, even in the application, they want that your existing and your host, right? Both are willing to participate. So yeah, you need to be attached.
but there's another question here. You can consider your last institute as your home institute, provided your former supervisor complete the home institute form for you. So
Yep.
mm. Any other question? Maybe for Dr. Shiba on SCA working group.
Intan, there's one question regarding proposal again. Can I answer, Shiba?
Oh yeah, you should.
Okay. Waalaikumsalam. Okay. The question is about whether it is acceptable if the proposal it's a continuation. Yes, it doesn't matter what is the origin of the research that you have done. So if you want to continue the research, you just need to highlight the part that you are suggesting, the continuation. What are you going to be doing apart from what you have already achieved? Because usually when we do a research, right, we will find something and then we want to do it, and then how can we do this, right? So usually it's that trigger. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is the origin of the funder of your previous research. What matters is what are you proposing to move forward. And very importantly, what you're proposing has to align with the SCAR Horizon Scan. And that's all that is required. I hope I answer your question. You're most welcome.
Any more questions? So let me share. This is the YPSM is planning to have a series of workshops before our call for proposal cycle this year, 2020 for 2025 cycle. So we are now in July. So this is the workshop that we are having now on SCAR, and then we're going to have another one in August. We will invite few researchers to share their experience and challenges in the Antarctic research, and then workshop on the research proposal in September, and then the guidelines and briefing on the 2025 call in October, and then we will start the call for proposal in 1st November. The line of application is on 31st January, and then in December 2024, we will have a physical workshop. If we receive any requests from the participating universities.
Thank you, Intan, for sharing the 2025 call for proposal timeline. So if you have any other question regards to SCAR or even for the YPSM grant recipient, you can just contact us. You can find this in our website, or just email directly to us, amanda@ypsm.my or intan@ypsm.my. Thank you very much to Dr. Shiba and Dr. Faradina. I hope this gives you a big insight on what SCAR is all about and the opportunities that SCAR will provide. We believe that SCAR is a very good opportunity as open doors to international collaboration, which is the most important thing to do research in Antarctica. So we hope to see you in other workshops or webinars that we will be having in the coming months that Intan had just shared with you. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Shiba. Thank you, Faradina, and all participants. Maybe we can have a picture and you on all your cameras, you can have a picture together.
Sorry, Amanda, can I add one thing I forgot to say just now during the presentation?
Yes.
If anyone wants help with the proposal, I'm more than happy to look through and give some suggestion for improvement. I'm not the best in this, but I think I kind of have a grasp of what is required. So maybe the initial one, I could help out if anybody wants help.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faradina. Maybe you can put your email, something on the chat box so that we can...
Dr. Faradina, actually, I have a question. regarding the fellowship. Can I ask
Yeah,
now?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
just wanted to know, how do you decide the period of attachment? Is this decided by you or is it decided by the SCAR?
It's decided by us
Oh,
because
okay.
it's our project. Then we will tell them how long we need, and
Okay.
then usually it's not too long. I think it cannot exceed 3 months if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And because the award money is also 5,000 USD, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to take into account your travel, your stay, food, and then all these meetings you need to attend and calculate that based on the amount that was given.
Okay, so the period is up to you to
Yes,
decide.
the period is up to you. Yes, yes. Which is, I think, a good thing. Being
Mhm.
lecturers is quite difficult to
Yeah.
go for long. Yes, that's why I think this is something that we should aim for because of the flexibility. You can arrange that with your host institute and then it should be sorted. But like I said, try and get some other things as well while you're there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Farina, Dr. Shiba. Maybe we can take a picture, everyone.
No, no camera. One, two, three. Right, thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you,
Hope
Amanda.
to see everyone soon, especially everyone from the Unit 10. We hope that you will join our Smart Partnership Initiative. Thank you, Dr. Teo.
Okay, we try.
And if
Thank
you
you.
have any other members from Unit 10 or even Monash here today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.